Okay, picking up where I left off. We're not going to have a remainder on this. Okay, this problem, you'll get this adjustment in class, is going to be -5. So if that's the case, then I am done. My answer would be x squared plus 2x minus 5. Okay. Now, when you get down to this, okay, what is the complete factorization? What are the roots? What are the solutions? Okay. What I would do here first is figure out the roots and solutions, because that's going to tell you what the factorization is. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I'm degree 3. Let me go to my original problem so I can see it. Okay. All right. So I would type in 3. Okay. 7. All right. -13 and -5. Okay. And I hit solve. Now, these are nasty. -1/3 on your calculator would turn into that -0.3 is -1/3, and this is a nasty one. So what you know is that when you have two nasty ones, you have to use the quadratic formula. So I know that one of the roots is x equals -1/3, x equals -1/3. The solutions and roots mean the same thing. The other two I'm going to have to find with the quadratic formula. Now, which part do I do that with? After you do the division, okay, this part left over is what the quadratic formula is going to be based off of. Okay, so you'll get the quadratic formula, but basically it looks like this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my menu, and I'm going to go back into run, okay, and I'm going to put some of this stuff in here, okay. So I'm going to put 1, all right, so this is my A is 1, this is my B, this is my C, okay. All right, so I'm going to do 1 arrow alpha A, 2 arrow alpha B, -5 arrow alpha C. I'm doing that b squared part first. B squared minus 4 alpha A alpha C. Okay? And what I got is 24. Okay? So I'm going to reduce the square root of 24, 2 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 and 3. Can't use these anymore. There's my pair. Okay? So what I got is I got 2 square root of 6 plus and minus. All right? The 2a, that's going to be 2. B, that means that's opposite, so it's going to be -2. So if you look at all 3 of these, they all have 2 in common. So I can divide them all by 2. So my solution here is x equals -1 plus and minus square root of 6. Okay? Because all those divide by 2. The same thing here. Now, as far as the factorization, I got a factor already in 3x plus 1. If what you got was a nasty decimal, you use just that part of the quadratic formula that you did to get the other factorization. Okay? All right? What is the complete factorization? What are the solutions? Once again, let's find the solutions first, and then we'll figure out, okay, the other part. So I'm going to go back into equa. I'm going to type in polynomial, degree 3. I got 2, I got 1, I got 6, and I got -18. Oh, whoops. 2, 1, 6, -18. And I solve. Okay, now, what you might have to do is, as I can see, you got one nice one, okay? All right, that will turn into fraction decimal, will be 3/2, okay, and 2 imaginary. Okay, and I'm going to have to work that out with the quadratic formula. Now, if your calculator is not in that mode, shift menu, make sure your calculator is set in A plus BI mode. Okay? All right, I'm going to go back in here. Whoops. No, I don't want to delete the coefficients. I want to solve. Okay, so I know that one of mine is x equals 3 over 2. Okay, which as a factor would be x minus 2/3. Now, what I should do with that is I should divide, which would turn into 3x minus, or 2x minus 3. Hold on, I did that backwards, sorry. That's going to be x minus 3/2, which would be 2x minus 3. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to divide by 2x minus 3. I'm going to put this 2x cubed in here, all right, and I know that I have to have an x squared term and an x term. The only way this works is this is x squared, that's -3x squared. Okay, my x squared terms, this is a 1, so I got to get to 1, so that's going to be 4, because that would give me 1, That would be 2x, okay, which would give me negative 6x. All right, that's a 6x, so if I have to get there, I have to go to 12, okay? Only way that works is multiply by 6. That gets me negative 18, and that's good. So what I'm going to have there, I already know that that's nasty, so I'm going to go ahead and put that as my factorization, because that's nasty decimals. If you get nasty decimals like that, and you get that answer, you already know that's good. So I'm good with the factorization. We're good there, okay? Now, to get the solutions, I'm going to use the quadratic formula again, where that's my A, all right? That's my A, that's my B, that's my C, okay? So I'm going to go in and do, okay, I'm going to do 1 arrow alpha A, okay, 2 arrow alpha B, okay, 6 arrow alpha C, okay, and I'm going to do alpha B squared minus 4 alpha A alpha C, okay? I got negative 20, and that's what I should get because I got imaginary, okay? So I got square root of negative 20, which is 2 and 10, 2 and 5, okay? I got that. Now, since I got that negative, I'm going to have plus and minus 2I square root of 5, because I can't use those anymore, okay? The quadratic formula says take the opposite of this, which is negative 2. All right, and then 2a. My a is 1, so that's going to be 2. All of those are divisible by 2. So my answer here is negative 1 plus or minus 1i square root of 5. Okay? Moving on. Factoring factoring cubics. Now, this is just like the division. I'm going to put 8x cubed in here. Now, I've got to figure out this, and what I do is I take the cube root of both parts. Now, be careful, especially on these Casios, make sure you get out of a plus bi mode if you want to do the cubic, because for some reason it messes up there. So I want to do cube root, cube root of 8, cube root of negative 27 gives you negative 3. The other shortcut there is if that's a minus, that's got to be a minus here. So whatever sign's here, it's the same one. So that's 2x. Okay. Once again, all the logic goes from there. If I'm at x cubed, I know I have to have x squared. I know I have to have x. Okay. That's going to be 4x squared, which would be negative 12x squared. Now, if you notice, I don't have an x squared term, so these got to cancel out or eliminate. So that's got to be 12. That's got to be 6. That's got to be negative 18. Once again, these have to cancel out, so that's got to be positive 18. All right, that's got to be 9. That's going to be negative 27. Now, since I had to come up with both of these on my own, both of those are a part of my answer, okay, because that's my factors, okay? Factor this, okay? Now, a lot of people get confused with the y cubes. I'm going to show you a little shortcut with that, all right? But basically, we're going to start. I'm going to worry about, we'll do the y's second. Let's get all the numbers right first. So I got x cubed. So I'm going to take the cube root of this, cube root of this. Cube root of 1 is 1x, okay? Cube root of 64 is 4, positive 4. So I'm going to worry about the x's first. And we'll get to the y's in a second. Let's make sure we get our numbers right, x squared and x. All right, the only way this works is x squared. That's going to be 4x squared down here. As you can see, I've got no x squared term, so that's got to be negative 4. This times this has got to be negative 4x. That's got to be negative 16x. The x is eliminated, which is positive 16. Okay? This is positive 64. Now, on the surface, we're good there. Now, to introduce the y's if you want, okay, cube root of y cubed would just be y. Okay, so let's add a y here. Well, what does that mean here? For us, that means that has to be a y. In order for that to be the case, that's got to be a y. Okay? All right, if that y is there, then that means that's going to be y squared. Well, if I have a y squared here, I got to have a y squared there. Well, this times this has got to give me that, which is y squared. Okay? And the only way that works, y squared. Or y cubed, I'm sorry. Okay? All right, now, another simple way to do that is if with the y cubed, you could just put a y and a y squared there, make sure that last term works. So I got x plus 4y, x squared minus 4xy plus 16y squared. Get the numbers, though, first, okay? The only difference between this is you're going to have y here, and a y squared there. Make sure those last two terms multiply. You got to have a y cubed, okay? All right, here's another one that you can do. You know, on my calculator, it doesn't eliminate quickly for that. Okay, so I'm going to go get another one. Okay, what you can do is you can type this in going across. If you go to menu and equa, okay, so if I go to menu and equa, my degree is not going higher than 3. So yours will. So go to 4, and what I'm going to type in is 9. So if you're typing in 9, 0, negative 37, 0, and 4. Okay? All right? So 9, 0, negative 37, 0, and 4. If you hit solve, okay, you get these solutions. 2, basically 1/3, negative 1/3, negative 2. Okay? So, as factors, all right, I'll take care of the 2's first. That would be 3x minus 1, 3x plus 1. Okay? That's one way of doing it. If you want to use the boxes for this, okay, if you want to use the boxes for this, all right, I got 9x4, okay, all right, I got 9x4. That means I'm going to have an x cubed, an x squared, an x, okay, all right, okay, so you could do this very similar. So what you're looking for, actually you don't need to do all those, sorry, hold on. This is very similar to our other quadratics where we multiplied 9 and that would give me 36, okay? So what I could do is 9x4, okay? And this is 4. I got to have 36. A match of that would be negative 1x squared and negative 36x squared. Those would get me negative 1 and negative 36 would add up to negative 37. And you could do the GCF here, which would be 9x squared, okay? The GCF there is negative 1, okay? GCF here is x squared. GCF here, because that's a negative, would be negative 4. So what I would have is, I got 9x squared minus 1, okay? X squared minus 4. Now, our shortcut on that, because that's our old stuff like that, is 3x plus 1, 3x minus 1. This is x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay? So what I got there is those solutions, or that's actually my factors right there. So either way, you can make that work. Okay? All right? There's all kinds of possibilities. You might get a couple real ones, and you might have to divide. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Okay? All right? I think that was the last one on that page. Yep. Okay. Now we're going on to these. We need to get these. We need to get better at these. F of g of x. So what that means is I'm going to lead with the f function. Be careful. Make sure you watch your letters. Okay. Lead with the f function. So that's 4 plus 5. Okay. Space there. I'm going to put in that behind it. So I got 4x squared minus 12x plus 5. Which is D. Okay. F of g of negative 2. Now, the only difference is it's the same problem, but we desperately need to use our calculators. We'll go back here. Okay. All right. I'm going to put in, they want me to put in what? Negative 2 for x. So negative 2 arrow alpha. Or I don't even need alpha, I just need x. Okay? Then type that in. 4 x squared minus 3x plus 5. Whoops, too many x's over there. Okay, 45 is my answer. I got that right. Okay? I think that's it. Oh, and that's my stuff from the beginning. Okay? So go ahead and watch that, practice that up, use your calculator, you should be fine.